Welcome to Unsuitable on Ray Radio, the award-winning financial services and business advisory podcast that challenges your old-school business practices and the traditional business suit culture. Our guests are industry professionals and experts who will challenge you to think beyond the suit and tie while offering you meaningful modern solutions to help you enhance your company's growth. I'm your host, Dave Kane.
Well, some of us never thought summer would ever arrive, but it's once again hot. The smell of barbecue, brisket, brats, hamburgers in the breeze. Baseball season is in full swing. It's summer. Text your friends. Go to Bixler Beach, also known as Margaritaville. And of course, since it's the first week of July, we're celebrating America's Independence Day. This year's 4th of July celebration is particularly special for today's guest, as this will be her very first Independence Day as an American citizen. Nouiy Kline, a staff accountant at Ray & Associates, came to the U.S. from Thailand in 2008 as a live-in nanny. It wasn't long before she set out to see what else America had to offer. So she enrolled in an American college, pursued a degree in accounting, made plans to settle down in the States with her husband, also became a CPA. Finally, on Valentine's Day this year, Nouiy became a United States citizen. Today on Unsuitable, we're going to talk about the process of becoming a citizen, why Nouiy chose to take that leap, and what employers can do to help their foreign-born employees seek out citizenship, and how a diverse workforce and workplace can benefit a business. Welcome to Unsuitable, Nouiy.
Thanks.
So you ready to roll with a bunch of questions?
Yes, definitely.
So I want to start out a little bit about, we talked about coming to the U.S. as a nanny.
Yes. So, I first came to the U.S. in 2008 as an au pair. So I came with an au pair program, which is a live-in nanny. So I matched with a host family who live in Columbus. So, and I was an au pair for about 2 years. Then I went back to Thailand and came back here for school.
Oh, great,
Yes.
great. As a nanny, were you changing diapers?
Oh, definitely. That was my job.
That was your specialty, changing diapers.
Yes, full-time job.
So how old were you when you came to the United States?
I think I was 22.
22?
Yeah, yes.
And when did you start thinking about coming to the U.S.?
Actually, I think so. I got a college degree in Thailand before I came here, and I think when I was a senior in college, one of my friends was coming here with the au pair program, and that's how I knew about the program. And I thought that was a very good idea to get to live here and get to learn the culture and live with an American
Right.
family.
Sure. So that was and it was in you landed in Columbus, Ohio, and never left Columbus, Ohio.
That's correct.
So, did any members of your family also accompany you to the U.S.?
No, I came here by myself.
Okay. And how many times do you go back to Thailand?
I think I have been back about 4 or 5 times, like every year and a half or 2 years.
How long a flight is that?
Over 24 hours, I would say.
24 hours. Oh boy.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, again, this is uncharted territory for me. We talked yesterday pre-production about some of the things that you had to do to become a U.S. citizen,
Yes.
and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, one is you'd mentioned to me that there had to be a test, or had to do some studying to become a U.S. citizen. Let's talk about that.
Sure, that's correct. So, so the process is, you have to hold a green card, which is the permanent resident for a certain period of time, and then you can apply for the citizenship, which you will have an interview, and before the interview, they will give you a guidebook, which you have to study about, the history, the politics, basic stuff.
So I had to study politics.
Yes.
So, as we talked yesterday, what are some of the other things that you had to learn? Did you have to learn, the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem? Were those things you had to learn?
Yes, I mean, those is one of the things that I had to learn, and it was on the guidebook. So, for example, who is the president of the United States? what's the cabinet do, kind of like that.
So a little history of how the company is, run and the executive offices and things like that.
Yes, that's right.
Good. Obviously we know you around the office here as Nouiy
Yes.
and Nouiy Kline, and that's very easy to pronounce and remember.
Yes.
But you shared with me your formal name, and could you tell us what your formal name is?
Sure. So my formal name is Ampawan, and my maiden name is Tanya Wisetsel. So, in Thailand, so everyone has a nickname because our formal name is very long. As you can see, it's kind of like when you slam your elbow on the keyboard. That's how it's written.
Yes.
Yeah. So I go by Nouiy, and Kline is my husband's name.
So good. Now, also, as you became a U.S. citizen and studied in the States, I understand you became a sports fan. And what are some of the professional sports teams that you follow?
So I am a Buckeye fan.
Of course.
Say that, yeah. And Jackets fan.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I am the Browns fan. My husband is, it's kind
Well,
of,
you have to be a Browns fan.
unfortunately.
I was just thinking, if you played sports, in the United States, and of course you had a jersey, and they had to put your name on the back of your jersey, it would be. I'm going to try to pronounce your last name. We practiced this yesterday.
All right.
Tanya Wisetseo.
Yeah.
That is 14 letters in that last name. Can you imagine what that would look like on the back of your Blue Jackets jersey?
Yeah,
Or
it
your
might
Brown-
not be fit.
It would not.
Yeah,
It would go
fit.
from elbow to elbow.
Right.
So, as you were in the United States, what made you decide, hey, I want to become a U.S. citizen?
Sure. So, when I started working at Ray, which was a month before the 2016 election, I saw my, colleagues voted, and I was not able to because I was a permanent resident. So I wanted the right to vote, and being a U.S. citizen gives you the right to vote.
That's really interesting. We have many citizens who do not vote, and here the compelling reason to become a citizen, one of the reasons was you wanted to vote.
Yes. So, I live and work here, so I just wanted a voice.
Fantastic. As you talked about the 2016 election, and obviously there was a bit of controversy around the election and so forth, and there was a lot of discussion, and there is today, about immigration.
Yes.
And limiting the amount of individuals who can come to the States to work and become citizens.
Mm-hmm.
As you heard that type of discussion, how did that make you feel? What kind of feelings did you have?
So I think immigration is a very, very sensitive issue, and I think it's a global issue. It's not just one country. Other countries might have this issue as well. Like Thailand has that also. And it involves like multiple cultures. So I don't think there is a one solution to solve these problems.
So good thoughts. And I look at your career and what you've done in a relatively short period of time, 10 years, where you've learned the culture, learned the history, became a certified public accountant, which is no easy task.
No, not
And
at all.
are very well employed in our company as an auditor, and so I think that's a great story to tell.
Yeah, so I think being a foreigner doesn't mean we cannot work like professional. We just speak in different language, and we can prove that we can work just like people do what people do here.
Sure. When you came to the United States, could you speak English?
Well, my speaking was very bad. I would have to say that. Like, when I first came to Columbus, I lived with an American host family, they gave me a flip phone, which they never called me because they could not understand my accent. So they only texted me because I could read and write. That was how bad it was.
So it was probably your accent, a little bit of your accent, but you had to learn, you knew English or learned English in Thailand, but you had to learn how to really use it on the street, so to speak.
Yeah, that's true because in Thailand we learn English grammars, but we don't really speak. So speaking is very difficult for us because we speak in a very different language and different accent.
Would you mind if you could for us say in your foreign language or your native language unsuitable on Ray Radio?
Unsuitable on the Ray Radio.
Okay.
No.
Can you say it in your first language? Just make something up. We'd like to hear your accent.
วิทยุสำหรับRay Radio.
Okay. Well, that's probably a curveball you weren't ready for. We should have practiced that yesterday, but that's okay. That's okay. We had talked about also why an employer might want to hire somebody who is not a U.S. citizen, with talent being a challenge for all businesses in all industries. Let's talk about why an employer might want to hire somebody who isn't a U.S. citizen.
Yes, as I mentioned before that, we speak in a different language. We have different culture, and I think the difference creates a better workplace because we get to see things from different perspectives, and I think it helps us understand each other better. And if we understand each other better, I think we can work we can work better as a team.
So it's team building that you would pursue and recommend that individuals like yourself a great addition to a workforce.
Yes.
So you talked about learning the U.S. culture. What were a couple of the hardest things to learn?
I think it just to understand people, to understand the culture. For example, when we say something in English, it might sound like, I'm not sure what is he talking, but if we translate back to our language, it's just like a normal conversation. So to really understand, the meaning of the words, what you're saying, you have to think before you speak. Let's put it that way.
It's a little bit of a challenge, and I would imagine sometimes jokes and sarcasm are maybe hard to translate, and you probably think, well, what in the world is going on here?
Yes, and actually, when I came here, I live with my host family, and my host dad is a very sarcastic person. So I had an English dictionary, and my host mom opened the first word, sarcasm, and explained what it means to me. And she pointed at him, yeah, that's how he is. So you better watch out.
So you learned on that?
Yes.
So have you seen the Statue of Liberty?
I have. Sort of.
Sort of. You must have gone on, must have been by it in the dark.
Yes, so, when we came as an au pair, we had a 3-day orientation in Connecticut, and, they took us to New York to see the Statue of the Liberty, and it was 10 o'clock at night, so I could not really see anything except the darkness of the Statue of the Liberty.
Sure. You'd mentioned that certainly you're a sports fan, which I would imagine Thailand, what's the sport of choice? Is it soccer?
Yes, soccer is the biggest one.
Did you play soccer in school?
Actually, yes, I did. So when I was in junior high, so everyone had to play soccer. It was not a choice. So I was a goalie.
You were a goalie?
Yes, and one of my friends kicked the ball and hit right on my face. So,
that was the end of that. So is Thailand in the World Cup this year?
I don't think so. We're still not that great.
Not that great. Still have to work at that.
Yes.
So, as you, again, we talk about culture, we go different directions, but what about music? Do you listen to a lot of U.S. musicians?
I mean, actually, yes. Background. My husband used to be in a rock band.
Oh, okay.
So, I am a rock
You're
and roll
a
fan.
rocker. You're
Yes.
rock and roller.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I love classic rock. So
Okay.
that's my favorite.
What's your favorite band?
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. Okay. Okay. When the levee breaks, or
Yeah.
you got it.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I would have not thought that. That's good. That's all right. All right. We talked. I want to go back to a little bit about kind of the sports, and you mentioned you're a football fan and the Buckeyes fan and a Cleveland Browns fan, which is the NFL, and of course the news there has been over the last year where a lot of the players, want to kneel during the national anthem, etc. When you see that, how does that make you feel? What do you think when you see that?
I could say that they have some frustration, and I understand that. And some people express it in a different way. And in the U.S., we know it's a freedom country. We have the right to do that. So I mean, I don't know what is right or wrong.
So you're okay with that? Could athletes get away with doing that in Thailand?
Well, no one has done that before, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. No, better not try it.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to Thailand and try to do that.
So now, if I do, I'm going to respect all of the rules and cultures.
Yeah.
So, have you been able to travel around the United States?
Yes, I have been to California, Michigan, Florida, New York, Connecticut, South Carolina.
Wow, you're just you're going all out.
Yeah, I mean, I love traveling, so.
So, how long was it from the time you entered the U.S. as a nanny that you got your driver's license?
Actually, I got it the first month when I came.
The first month?
Yeah, so the first day when I arrived in Columbus and my host family, parted, that's the car you're going to drive. So, and they, took me and practiced driving, and luckily I passed the driving test at the first try.
Did you have a driver's license in Thailand?
No.
No, okay. Remind me not to park next to you, okay? That'd be okay. But, I want to go back to about, what can an employer can do to help the employee secure U.S. citizenship.
Sure. So if the employer really decides, employees to become a U.S. citizen, the company's human resources could possibly help guide an employee to the proper process of becoming a U.S. citizen. Also, the company could possibly sponsor an employee to get a work visa, and then the employee can decide if they want to become a U.S. citizen or not.
So I want to go back to, again, there are many reasons, and I think this is worth repeating. There are many reasons to become an American citizen, but at the top of your list is you wanted to vote, you wanted a voice. That just hits me just right. I think that's pretty cool. The second thing that you talked about, that employers can help foreign employees secure citizenship. It's not a necessity, but it's a good thing.
Yes.
And the last thing we want to talk about in the few minutes we have left is a diverse workplace is a better workplace, and that's one of the things that we talked about very briefly yesterday before the production. And let's talk about that. How do you have the thought that a diverse workplace is really the way to go?
Yeah. So the way I think is even though a workplace has 100% American, but everyone is still different anyway. So we might come from a different background. We might have a different legal, status. So I think it's not easy to understand each other. So if we have, diverse people in the workplace, so we get to learn each other. And I think that it builds a better workplace.
So it's a stronger workforce.
Yes.
Good. We'd mentioned that you spend primarily a lot of your time auditing in the audit field, the assurance, but you've also dipped your toes into tax preparation and tax consulting. Did you find the IRS code daunting? I'll answer that for you. I've been doing it for 40 years. It is daunting. You've been doing it for 5 years as far as been in the CPA profession.
Yeah. I mean, it changes every year, and I still feel like tax is a field that I just never understand. It's very difficult. Yeah, but I mean, since I'm a CPA, so now I understand taxes a lot more than my husband, who is an American.
Oh, he's a musician. That's what he's doing. Is he still playing in a band?
No, he quit several years ago. So he's in IT.
Oh, in IT.
He just played that for fun.
It's and we got to end up the podcast, but I think it's pretty incredible that you've been in the United States 10 years, have accomplished so much, and you passed the CPA exam very quickly. And there are folks that have been in the accounting profession and taken that exam for years and years and years and can't get it passed. And you made it a priority and you got it passed.
Thank you.
So that's wonderful. Thanks again for joining us on Unsuitable today, Nouiy. Really think that's a great way to celebrate America and the opportunities that are available to those who are looking to work in the U.S. or seek out citizenship. Listeners, if you have questions about the process, you can email us at podcast@raycpa.com and we will put you in touch with Nouiy. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. Like it, leave us a comment, and share it with your friends and colleagues. Until next time, I'm Dave Kane, encouraging you to loosen up your tie and think outside the box. USA. USA! USA!